Okay, it's recording now. This is a book review of a book I just recently read. Considered a classic in cryptozoological circles. It is titled Abominable Snowmen, Legend Come to Life by Ivan T. Sanderson. I'm sure most of you out there, even if you've never read the book, are familiar with it in some aspect. It's a fascinating book. It's really a lot of great points in here. I know that Sanderson, this is the front cover, then you have the back. You may notice the photograph on the top shows the Minnesota Iceman, which was not the subject was not one of the subjects of this book because this book was written in 1961. The Minnesota Iceman was not made aware of until about 1967, and Sanderson and Bernard Heuvelmans investigated the Minnesota Iceman in 1968. Now the image on the bottom of the page of the cover shows an illustration of a Yeti, an abominable snowman. This was actually the cover of the 1968 paperback version of this book. This is a paperback version from 2006. Interestingly enough, this book is now 50 years old. Not this very book, but I mean the book itself was written 50 years ago. And there's still some things in the book that still are relevant to today. Sanderson goes into describing about 4 or 5 different types of what he calls ABSMs, abominable snowmen. He goes into he calls our North American Sasquatch, he calls it the Oma, or Sasquatch, plus the Yeti, or the abominable snowman. Plus he examines creatures in Africa, South America, Vietnam, China. He runs the gamut as far as all the different hairy hominids, or hominoids if you prefer, all over the world, actually. He goes into some of his theories. He goes into the what do you call it? Excuse me. He goes into the different theories on what the abominable snowmen might be, the ABSMs. He talks about the anthropological record, the Gigantopithecus. Interestingly enough, he says the Gigantopithecus is actually hominid, not hominoid. Not Pongidae, but hominidae. How true that is, how credible that is, I can't tell you. But he does mention that in his opinion, Gigantopithecus was hominidae, not Pongidae. And he bases that on the fact that they have, because the teeth are more square than there are no fangs. There have been no fangs found associated with Gigantopithecus like there would be for an ape or a gorilla. Because gorillas do have fangs. So, it's entirely possible maybe Sasquatch and its ilk are Gigantopithecus, but they are hominids, not Pongidae. They are hominidae, not Pongidae. Sanderson also talks. He goes into quite a bit of exposition on things. He kind of some of it is very tedious and boring. Some of the things he goes into in the book. The types there are actually 4 types he classifies. Subhumans, which are the Indo-Chinese, Malay, and South Chinese, and East Eurasian. The Proto-Pygmies are Oriental, African, and American. South American mainly. The Neo-Giants are Oriental and American. The Subhominids are in the Tibetan Himalayas. Now, the ones in the subhumans are the Sea-Geek Almas. Proto-Pygmies are Sidapa and Talmas. African is Sihite or Sihite and Agogways. South American is Duende and Shrews. Neo-Giants Oriental are Zute, Tok, and Jinsungs. American are the Sasquatch, the Oma, Didi, and Mapingwe. Subhominids are the Mete, Golub, and Yavans. So he goes into 4 different types. He believes that there are 4 different types of hominids, or hominoids if you prefer, around the world. And the book is replete with maps, with photographs. There's a few photographs. There's a photograph section. Overall, it's a lot of text. It is a lot of text. And now Sanderson traveled all over the world looking for these mysterious giant hominids, or hominoids again if you prefer. Now there's a photograph of the alleged Pangboche hand, which was found by Peter Burns' expedition, I want to say 1959, or somewhere in 1958, 1959, somewhere in there. Maybe 1957. There's different examples of how humans look compared to these hairy hominoids or hominids. All kinds of fascinating stuff. And there are appendices at the end which show this is a chart. This is a chart of different footprints of humans and also of ABSMs, as Sanderson called them. Abominable snowmen. And also of the great apes. Also the great apes. There are the footprint sketches of those as well, the great apes. So I do recommend this book. I do recommend it. Some of it is tedious and boring, but overall, I do recommend getting it. It is an indispensable classic for those who are interested in hairy hominids or hominoids. And yeah, I would recommend it. I would give this about a 4 out of 5 stars. I do recommend getting it.